It said man should rise above the earth to the top of the atmosphere and beyond, for only thus will he fully understand the world in which he lives. This joy of flying and exploring the world from up above is passion that for sure makes one pursue an extraordinary career, being a pilot. We meet Quentin Amendi Ondago, a trained pilot and aviation manager at the University of Leeds, United Kingdom, and the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology RMIT, Australia. After some time of flying and exploring the world from the skies, he turned down the yoke and picked up the steering wheel. Today, he's a car enthusiast.
What gives me joy in this life? Relationships. The friends I have, the family, people I meet, those people give me joy. God is number one. Yeah. God gives me strength every day. To do this job, it requires strength. So those are the people who keep me going every day. I've liked cars since I was a child. My uncle used to take us to school with his car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle. And I used to like how it was so manual. Everything was so easily accessible. There's lights, indicator here, doesn't have all the fluff. So since then I started liking cars, which is why I started doing aviation, because I told my mom I want to be a manamba. So I wanted to be a tout, and then she said, you can't get money through that, so you have to do something that is better than that. So I said, I can be an ambulance driver because you're always dealing with cars. That's how I ended up in aviation. So basically started with aviation, went to uni, studied how to fly a plane, but I still gravitated back to cars because it's something innate. I always liked cars since I was a kid, so even right now, same thing. How it started was, okay, I'm going to do aviation, so I started doing aviation on the side, trying to get jobs, trying to get into the industry, and then I decided if I'm flying, I want a car to be going to the airport with. So let me get the car I really wanted. So I got a Mercedes-Benz. It's a 1969 Mercedes-Benz. Then I fixed it up. Then I started driving it around, and people were asking me questions about the car. And then while I'm still applying for jobs, looking for a job in Australia, in the UK, people are still asking me about the car. So I just started doing it on the side. And then eventually, people started saying, this is the guy who drives classic cars. And the same for my brother, my dad, all of them are into classic cars. So we ended up now having a collection as a family. And then we'd exchange cars, and that's how we sort of got into it. I think that cars are meant to be driven, not to be showcased. You can showcase a car just to remind the newer generations about how cars were. But predominantly, I think that you should drive a car. So if I'm driving this car, for example, I use it to do everyday tasks. So I'd go to shops with it. If I'm going up country, I travel with it. And even put systems inside, put modern technology, as opposed to sticking to the old technology, which is, yes, reminiscent, but there's better technology since this car was made. So I have that philosophy where cars are there to be used, not to be preserved or to be idolized, I would say. So I would say I'm shifting from cars into something, maybe motorcycles or planes, because using my previous knowledge from university, I'm aiming to restore a plane, try and make it into the same condition as this, because I've not seen planes that are in different colors or multicolored planes or planes with a subwoofer at the back. Why not?
To this end, Ondago has experience restoring several cars including Mercedes-Benz W115, W108, W115, Peugeot 504, VW Beetle and Land Rover Defender. We are so thrilled to check all these out. First, we review the Mercedes-Benz W115, W108, W116. This mid-sized but long car is among a series of classic luxury vehicles that were produced by Mercedes-Benz in the 1960s and 1970s. It's typical of the second President Daniel Arap Moi's Mercedes 600. In the past, this model was used by world-rich individuals, including presidents, popes, and other top figures.
I want to show you one special car that I have that I think everyone must see. It's a 1970 Mercedes-Benz 115. This is a 115 Mercedes, which I got in 2021. It's not originally blue, but it used to be white. The top I painted it silver just for the classic look, and I installed the white walls and a couple of other extra things. What I like most about this car is first the seating space. At the back, too much room. We restitched the interior, did it in this color because I think it looks really nice. The space at the back and at the front, as you can see, it still has the original ivory steering wheel. Everything is kept standard except the radio. Change that just for some music and we move. The interior was redone. The color was painted in 2021. It has its original engine. It's a 115 Mercedes 1970. The length of the car is, I think, a bit longer than a standard car. Interestingly enough, if you look at the boot, they say dictators used to put people in the boot, so sometimes the size of this shocks people because it's pretty big. It has a lot of storage space. Also, like I said, the interior has a lot of space, so if you sit at the back, like presidents used to use this as an official car, when you sit at the back, the space inside, it's like you're sitting on a sofa, which is the extra space. The car is 1970, so as you can see, you only have one cluster. This is indicators, these are the wipers when you press in and out, horn is over here, and key as usual, and this is the handbrake. So in normal cars it's usually here, now this is the handbrake in this car. Like I said with the Volkswagen Beetle, that one you press down to put reverse. This one you lift it up and put gear 1. So the reverse on this one is almost reverse of the other car. Yes. Yeah, this car requires a lot of energy, but it's much easier to drive. If in comparison you look at this car compared to the Volkswagen, they were built around the same year, yet this one is more spacious. You have more space and then there's more room to keep things. Like the boot is bigger, engine is faster, and for the Volkswagen it's air cooled. This one it uses a radiator as normal. Main interest in this car is Moi and the officials used to use this car back in the day. So I liked how the shape of the car was. The straight lines, you see the chrome, that's straight. Just how it rides, there's a lot of leeway. And the fact that there's no headrest, so it feels as if you're talking to somebody at the back, like you're sitting in a sofa at home. So that is the appeal that I had for it.
Here is a Peugeot 504 VW Beetle. It's a timeless and elegant design characterized by clean lines and a distinctive grille. The Peugeot 504 gained popularity worldwide and it was particularly successful in Africa and other developing markets due to its ability to cope with rough terrains and its straightforward mechanical design. It's one of those cars built to withstand tough road conditions and has a reputation for durability.
Okay, here we have a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle. It was originally grey, but now it's blue. This blue, it's a metallic blue. The interior is red. It has, I put in a sound system just because I like them bangers. Another banger, yeah. So I put in the sound system, kept everything original. As you can see, there's not much in here. Basically just ashtray, radio, that's the light, hazard, the indicator is here, and the glove box. And that's it. It's a 4-speed manual. There are the stick shifts. And the interesting part about this, if people don't know, is there's no engine. So the fuel tank is here, and the electricals are there. So basically the engine is at the back. So if you go like this, engine is at the back. This is the carburetor, and I changed this from the generator, which is what they used to use, to an alternator. It's a 1600cc engine, which is one of the most powerful ones which are put in this car. So I keep it stock, but then I put the speakers in the back and other things that make it more comfortable to live in, you know, because if you're driving it every day, it's different from a show car. Yeah. Let me start up the car, make sure it's free first. No fuel. So as you can see, the performance of this car, it's a 1600cc engine. Top speed, I wouldn't know, but it's fast. It still has its original gearbox and engine, haven't changed that. It's a 4-speed manual. The interesting thing about this car is the reverse, you have to press down and then put it back like that. So where most cars, you would put reverse maybe on that side to the driver. This one, it's as if you're pressing down and then putting it to the back. So at least that's like a security measure for guys who want to steal the car and don't know how to drive the manual. That's an interesting part. But the car is fast. Everything is manual. Windows are manual. There's this piece of glass in the middle, the quarter glass, which is also there just in case, you know, people want air inside. It doesn't overheat, which is a good thing. And usually I take it to anywhere, the gym, work, come back home. It's a daily car. So around town, works perfectly. But my main goal right now is try and get the speakers in, because I've been trying to find these guys who put speakers into matatus. Like matatus have crazy systems. So I would try to do the same with this one, but then keep the noise inside. You know, like I want to hear like surround sound inside instead of the music blasting outside. I just want to feel like I'm wearing earphones while I'm inside the car. And also something I think about like these classic cars is no tint. Usually people put tint, but for me, I feel like you've worked hard to make the car move, so let people see it, you know. And for anyone who's outside, they can also see the interior. Maybe it inspires them, or they get ideas to do their own cars. Honestly, I haven't measured it yet, but it takes so little. The carburetor is new, so with a new carburetor, I've set it just so that it sips a bit of fuel instead of guzzling. And I'm not a fast driver, so essentially, it's like a small normal car. It's like a Toyota Yaris. As a car collector, I have several cars. This is one of them. Let me show you the other. Over here, we have a 1997 Peugeot. So the Peugeot is what I would say I've gone the farthest with, because it has a really strong engine, it's reliable, and in terms of spares are easily found. I usually buy spares from Kirinyaga Road, and an interesting thing about this car is that in, I think it was Brazil or in Western Africa, they manufactured this car up until 2004. So spares are available. It's a 5-speed manual, it's an SR. There are two models, there's the GL and then there's the SR. So this car is an SR, 2005, it has the speakers at the back. And I put tint on this one, only because of the heat. Sometimes heat comes in, and I've gone with this car till Kisumu, Eldoret, Mombasa. Really reliable car. 504 is synonymous with government. In the 90s, a lot of government officials would use this car. So they either think you're a professor or an ex-government person. Originally, the car wasn't this color, it was cream. Then I changed it to silver, just to give it a bit of an edge, but everything else is the same as it was in 1997. Yeah, I don't know, some people might call their cars names. I just call it as it is. It's a Peugeot 504. There's no baby name I have for it. It's a vehicle. In terms of driving this car, it's incognito. It sort of blends in, but doesn't blend in. So if I drive this car as opposed to the Volkswagen or the other cars, people just let you pass. Like, they don't interact with you as much, and you almost sort of blend in, but you don't. And the fuel economy is great, superb. There's not much in here, but it's 5-speed manual. Got the radio in. This is the indicator. Africa, always love Africa. And yeah, the dashboard as it is. The speakers are in the back, there's 6-inch speakers, which, by the way, let me just show you. When you start the car, it doesn't make noise. It's tuned perfectly that it doesn't drink so much fuel when you're on the highway. I've clocked about 14 kilometers per liter when I'm on the highway. Usually, depending on whether you're a fast driver or if you're somebody who likes driving slowly, this is really forgiving on fuel. Yeah. The seats were restitched. They had a different material in the middle. They're still underneath, but I restitched this to match the door because the previous owner who had this car had changed this one, so I just matched this color to this. They're really comfortable. If you sit on them for long journeys, really comfortable. And yeah, there's a guy in Umoja who did this for me. He did this, also the rear lining and the dashboard. This is the engine. It's a 4-cylinder, 1.8 liter engine. The carburetor is here. Everything is stock as it was. So really reliable engine. Doesn't overheat, which is a good thing. And you can get feedback on anything pretty much because it doesn't have much mechanical stuff. We've rebuilt the engine because it had a leak. Air filter has been replaced. Radiator has been dismantled and built back. The wiring was all done again, just so that to make sure you don't get any fuses that blow out. It took me about 3 months. Interesting thing, my friend hit it at the front, so he was trying it out. So we had to get the front redone, and the bumper was new, lights was replaced. So yeah, it took about 3 months, but essentially it would take you maybe a month and a half if you're not changing the color.
Finally, we hope in a Rover. This car has a storied history that dates back to its first introduction in 1948. Granted, this whip has been focused on utility and off-road capability. What's in for this rugged and versatile vehicle?
I plan on doing noise cancellation for the Defender, getting the sound, things that are rattling inside, because some of the things are squeaking inside. Get the sound system in, also remap the engine. That makes it more fuel efficient, easier on power. And I don't know about the color. I like it so far because people think it's a government car, but it's not. Yeah, so in terms of the engine, I'll just show you how it is. Like I said, it's a 2.2 liter Puma engine. It's still stock, so no modification was done on it. As you can see, yeah, this is when Land Rover started shipping their cars, bringing the engine from Ford. So this is actually in a Ford Transit van, but they use it on the Land Rover. In terms of efficiency, I think it does maybe 11 kilometers per liter, which is not bad. It's not the most efficient, but it has power to compensate for that. In as much as these cars are most people's dream cars, you have to understand that at the end of it, it's a classic car. So cons of owning one is turning circle is really wide. So when you're taking a corner, you can't just quickly turn like a small car. You have to go wide and then come back and then go forward. So there's that. And also in terms of parts are available. You can get them from different shops in town. Impala sells them. I service my car at Mad Rovers. They do an excellent job. And also they're easy to fix. So if you're really handy with yourself, you can do it at home. But I'd recommend check the manuals instead of trying it out yourself, because you can cause problems in the car. Something I've learned over the years is be patient. Patience is one of the most important things. In terms of collecting cars, instead of picking the one that you think is good, go and try it out. Before I owned a Land Rover, I went and tried it out and I was shocked. This car, you sit pretty high, it's noisy inside, you smell fuel, it has leaks and etc. So I'd say, even before owning a car, go and try it out. If your friend owns one, just go and say, let me just drive around here and see how it is, or sit inside. Or even if it's being sold at a car yard, drive it around for a bit. And then start researching about the problems. For example, a car like a Mercedes G-Wagon, the older ones, are expensive to